11 a.m., 4 p.m., 11 p.m., 4 a.m., it doesn't matter the time. It's time to duel. The game being reviewed is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, now on Steam. It shouldn't be confused with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, that's separate. The 9 things I'll be going over is story, mechanics, gameplay, music, graphics, difficulty, replayability, things I like to see, and my overall rating. Let's begin. There's no story, but there's a solo mode that gives backstory for certain archetypes. Aside from that, it's just dueling against AIs. It also has tutorials and duel strategies to help you understand the many ways of summoning and the variety of spells and traps. There's also loaners they have you use so you can experiment and try different decks. Keep in mind, this mode gives gems and other cards as incentives to play. For the dueling mode, there's ranked and free duel. Ranked duel is where you'll start with rookie and hopefully rank up to bronze, silver, gold, and finally platinum. The higher you go, the more challenging opponents you'll face, usually. Keep in mind, there's not much penalty if you lose several times in a row, until you get to gold. Say you reach gold 4, and if you lose several times, then you can get demoted into gold 5. However, you cannot get demoted from gold to silver. Free duels is where people can spectate while you duel or vice versa. On your profile, you can edit your profile, watch replays, look at your data. The mechanics go from building your deck, getting new cards from pulls in the shop, dismantling cards, and building cards. Another interesting mechanic when it comes to deck building is the ability to copy decks from public deck. You can also copy from your opponent after the match. Alright, that's a nice deck. Yoink. For the deck view section, you can sample 5 draw to give you an idea of what you'll start off with in the first turn. If you can't get the right cards in a deck of 60 cards, then maybe you ought to reduce the amount. As the gameplay goes, it's a numbers and reading game, so the monster that has a higher attack point usually wins. Lots of monsters have effects, so it's important to read, understand, and utilize their full potential. There's various playstyles with synchro summons, link summons, pendulums, tributes, XYZ summons, so due to that, you're bound to face lots of interesting and unique opponents. The music changes throughout the duel depending on the situation. I think it's a solid OST, lots of variety, and hypes you depending on the situation. There's nice detailed close-ups, and the animations when you do certain summons are pretty cool, like the synchro and rituals, for example. There's unworldly monsters, goofy looking monsters, or even humans as the monsters. There's so many types of cards, and the artist did a good job of conveying that. Like this monster, it gives an ominous feeling, and the colors? Spectacular. Even the spells and traps build the idea of the duel being out of this world. Difficulty depends on how much you read and understand the card and monster effects. Given how each generation has different summons and archetypes, you'll find plenty of archetypes to fight, copy, and learn. There is a difficulty curve if you don't know about archetypes, how to build decks, and countering metas. If you find yourself stuck or lost about finding the right deck, there's a public deck, the tutorials, various websites, even a subreddit that are available to help beginners or not alike find new archetypes, metas, or builds to try out, as long as they're willing to look. If you don't have a lot of UR or SR available, there's plenty of normal and rare decks around if you look. I believe they're called budget decks. To build a deck, you'll need gems to buy packs. Those packs contain cards you'll either need for a specific archetype or dismantling fodder to build a different deck later on. One good thing is that if you build a certain card, then it'll unlock a secret pack for you to buy to help speed up building the deck you desire. Odds are, the cards you get from the pack will unlock another secret pack, so that's usually a neat surprise. One problem with building decks is how lots of cards, especially the powerful ones, are very pricey with the UR and SRs, so keep that in mind. Also, I recommend buying the Gold Pass, as it provides benefits such as more EXP, gems, and shards as you level up. There's lots of replayability, no questions about that. It's just a matter of like building the decks, adapting to the situations, and hopefully having an answer to whatever your opponent throws. I don't like how lots of cards, especially SRs and URs, feel vital to making a deck absolutely deadly. Maybe that's just a me problem. Lots of times while dueling, for the first turn, you won't have much luck with your cards, while your opponent seems to have everything in order and sends an army out against your empty field. When you finish making your newly acquired deck, it might be best to practice against AIs to get a feel for how to actually set up combos and such. I like to see double battles. I also like to see AIs with a specific set of archetypes so you can practice against them. Although there's already a solo mode where you can learn how to use archetypes, this would be set to find ways to counter archetypes or just get more experience with them. Emotes or text chat or just like a quick message at the start of the game that you can just create or choose from. Fix the 8-minute per turn or have an option to change the time limit in ranked. Overall, 8 out of 10. When you perform a combo, it feels like everything's come together. It's a very good feeling, to say the least, even more so when your opponent surrenders. Although your plan may not come together as hoped, it's up to you to adapt and make sure you have alternatives to win. Having ways to stall also helps out, like Swords of Revealing Light, Marshmallow, Aroma Jar, Regeki, Magic Cylinder, and such. From my experience, I've only really used Dark Condition, Ancient Gear, and a bit of Odd Eyes Pendulum, so my experience in using metas and popular decks are rather limited, but I've had my fair share going against them from time to time. I can say they're very effective. The URs and SRs needed to make a deck powerful takes a lot, and not everyone will be able to get the needed UR and SR cards in their packs. The grind for all the SR and URs is a miss for me. The game's open to newcomers and veterans alike, with the tutorials to help introduce or refresh players with concepts, so it does feel a bit beginner friendly in that regard. People who aren't into reading, strategizing, or prefer more movement and action oriented games, this game might not be for them. With that all said, I hope this review convinces you to at least try out Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, even if you aren't fond of games that focus on heavy preparations, reading, strategizing, and last minute improvisations. Wild Waldo, signing out.